Homer finds a new best friend, and together they call themselves the Lambo Bros, as they enjoy driving a sleek black Lamborghini and leaving that Miami millionaire lifestyle. But the truth is more sinister than he thought. At the power plant, Homer receives a text message from Marge to come home. He got home, but he is not the same broke fat loser. He is a broke fat loser with an expensive Lamborghini.
Nice car! What are the odds?
It drives itself, changes colour, milks goats, even with an empty tank. A plane fills it with gas while it speeds. And it even flies through the air to get home looking mad cool and parks the car in the perfect way. When Homer was sitting on the couch, Marge said they ran out of food, and Santa's little helper was sprayed by a skunk. Homer awakens and realizes that it was just a dream, although this dream will soon come true. The Simpson family is at home when Marge, filled with enthusiasm, announces that new neighbours have moved into the house next door, so they have to introduce themselves before they heard about them. Naturally, she's excited to welcome them with a basket of biscuits, cheeses, and a handful of local products that Springfield has to offer, like the famous Moe's pickles. But Homer doesn't share Marge's enthusiasm. Why meet new neighbours when they already have neighbours they hate them all? However, Marge tells him it's important to make a good first impression before the neighbours get to know them for real. So Homer, saying he'll go with the worst attitude, agrees to join the welcome act. Bart, who can't resist his mischievousness, takes the lead and manages to be the first to meet the new neighbours, or rather, his backside was the first to meet the Blackburns. There, Anne greets them cordially, and so does Thayer, who already met some of the citizens of Springfield.
Yes.
Homer asks him what he does for living. Surly, something that will make him like a nobody. Thayer owns a sport cars dealership and invites him for a quick tour, and we see the logo of Lamborghini, for copyright reasons, I guess. Homer, fascinated by the car with eyes shining like saucers, is interrupted by Marge, who warns him not to even think about buying something so expensive, since they're still paying off a stainless steel spatula in 12 installments. That was a buy now, pay later deal they still regret.
Can I get a test drive in front of everyone I went to high school with?
Of course.
He also invites him to play pickleball. Homer doesn't accept because even moving a little is too much for him. But since they're eating ice cream, he immediately accepts.
I will drive.
And while they talk, Anne invites Marge to get a massage to relax and catch up. Flanders, of course, turns up carrying his Bibles to hand out among the crowd, though Tyler seems more interesting to Homer.
Who's that stupid guy?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, at school, children are given a projection that talks about bullying, how everything will get better. We even see Jeff Bezos.
When you're older, get rich and wedgie their egos.
After a talk on the importance of school harmony and anti-bullying, apparently, Nelson has learned a very important lesson.
Adults can be nerds too. Nerd!
Too late!
He decides to show his power by hitting anyone who crosses his path, even the teacher, who looks like Walter White. Bart has the not-so-bright idea of thinking that, thanks to the videos shown in school, he would be able to stand up to the bullies. Instead, he ends up falling victim to a nasty prank at the school water fountain, suffering a humiliating wet wedgie in front of the entire school, who now see him as the boy who wets his pants. Bart's new nickname? Drippy.
My presentations have made bullies worse in every school. We hope this time will be different.
Shortly after, his sister Lisa appears, and everybody knows Nelson is out of control, encouraging her brother to confront Nelson, and says she has a plan to humiliate the bully. Meanwhile, Homer, trying to catch his breath, and Thayer, after their game, are sharing some nice ice creams, surprisingly, not beers. Thayer confesses to the portly man that he appreciates his honest company. As in his line of work, he encounters a lot of fake people. As a gesture of friendship, he hands Homer the car keys so he can take it for a spin. Homer, thrilled and unable to contain himself, squeezes into the driver's seat in this very weird and traumatizing way.
Go! Oh! Now, no worries.
After he applies some fatso grease so he can fit in. Yeah, this was so weird. Homer is finally driving it. Thayer assures him that he and Homer are going to be great friends. Along the way, Moe appears in Homer's imagination, trying to convince him to come back to the bar where he belongs, making him question the true intentions of the man with the Rolex. But Thayer tricks him by telling him that there is another guy interested in being Thayer's friend. And because of the fear of losing Thayer, Homer accepts his friendship unconditionally. That next evening, they decide to take their wives out for a fancy dinner in town, all travelling in the beautiful red Lamborghini, with Marge and Anne struggling to breathe as Homer, in charge of the wheel, tries to settle his backside. This new friendship enjoys an afternoon of mini golf, horseback riding, and jacuzzi time. At a penthouse dinner, the group draws the attention of everyone present, as they truly seem to be having a great night. It looks like the Simpsons have finally found some real friends. The peace in the neighbourhood doesn't last long. The next morning, the Simpsons are woken up early by a deafening noise from heavy machinery. Marge pokes her head out of the window and sees a construction crew working on a luxurious extension at Tyler and Anne's house. Marge quickly glances at Homer and asks, "Did you know about this?" The portly man, feigning ignorance like a dog that's left a mess in the house, replies,
Well, he did mention something, and I might have signed something, but it's not a complete teardown.
To their surprise, one of the workers responds in Spanish, and Marge speaks back to him in Spanish.
¿Cuántas variables?
Ella habla español.
Marge now knows he wasn't trying to sell him a Lambo, but rather convince him to sign, and thus they will not complain in the future. Homer cannot believe a car salesman would lie to him. Meanwhile, at school, Bart tries to enter through the kindergarten entrance because he is scared, but he is intercepted by some bold kindergartners demanding his lunch money. Fed up with the situation, Bart decides he's had enough of Nelson's humiliations, and, with Lisa's help, plans his revenge. Lisa suggests a more modern strategy, an embarrassing video war. Among the files on Lisa's old computer, they find a video of Nelson trying on his mother's lipstick. Bart uses it as ammunition and shows it to the other students. This causes Nelson to lose his reputation and be met with laughter from everyone at school. Now, Bart is in a new position. He'll make the bully pay for everything he's done and insists Nelson calls him Master and gives him his iconic vest.
Is your shirt just drawn on? Yes.
Homer decides to confront Thayer, who doesn't mind leaving a $200,000 client and giving the commission to the old Gil so that he can close the sale. But the poor guy only needs a pen that he doesn't have and loses the sale.
I would have been able to pay the rent on my shoes.
Thayer assures Homer the noise is temporary and compensates by giving him full access to the Lamborghini. Homer, always easy to convince when it comes to sports cars, happily accepts the offer.
Well, I guess that renovate.
Now, Homer has the freedom to take the Lamborghini for a love cruise up to Springfield Hill, where all the teenagers hang out. Naturally, he brings Marge along, and as they both gaze at the city lights, Marge can't help but feel that all is well with the world. Nelson, furious and humiliated, blames Bart and Lisa and hires the school's biggest nerd, Hubert, to help restore his reputation. Hubert, a tech and virtual blackmail expert, blocks Bart and Lisa's attempts to post more videos and soon becomes Nelson's right-hand man. Hubert knows that for a long time, he will not have bruises in his eyes. This means that Nelson resumes his reign as the school bully, to the point where even Principal Skinner greets him with a meal and an exclusive show put on by groundskeeper Willie. Meanwhile, the renovation problems at Thayer and Anne's house continue. The construction blocks the sunlight from the Simpsons' garden, leaving Homer frustrated as his favourite hammock is now in the shade, and he can't sunbathe.
It blocks out all our light.
To make matters worse, the construction workers start accidentally dropping debris into the Simpsons' yard, turning it into a battleground littered with concrete chunks and dust. Homer is on the brink of losing it, but Thayer and Anne have gone off on a 6-week holiday to Bora Bora, leaving the chaos in the hands of their workers. On another front, Lisa decides to confront Hubert in an epic, nerdy battle of intellect. They throw highly sophisticated insults at each other, using words that no other child understands, while the others watch in silence. The rivalry ends in a truce, when they both decide that joining forces is far more productive. Another unexpected act of friendship emerges between Bart and Nelson, who seem to have tired of fighting and start playing on the seesaw while singing "We Are the World," as Skinner watches in satisfaction from afar.
When they're finished, do you want to join me for an up and down?
Get away from me.
Finally, with his nerves at their breaking point, Homer decides to take matters into his own hands, although we must question his methods, as this channel certainly doesn't endorse pyromania. Through a conversation with Hubert and Lisa, he learns that Springfield has strict zoning regulations prohibiting expansions like the one Thea and Anne are undertaking. In fact, the street where the Simpsons live has been declared a historic landmark. Armed with this information, Homer confronts Thea at his workplace, the luxury car showroom in Springfield. Speaking into the microphones, Homer tells Thea, firstly, that he's giving back the keys and that he can shove the car where the sun doesn't shine. And secondly, that he no longer wants to be a Lambro. He says he's learned there's no such thing as a Lambo man, only rich idiots with stupid cars. Thea, shocked and humiliated, watches as one by one his customers leave, reflecting on Homer's words. What's more, one of the clients leaves saying, "Even if I have a Lamborghini, my penis will still be small." After causing a stir, Homer leaves with Marge, who's come to pick him up in their old falling apart car. They even have to get out to push it, as it won't start. The episode ends with a final scene showing a museum of Springfield's history in the future, paying homage to an iconic scene from The Lion King. Interestingly, this museum has been set up in the Simpsons home, and we also see a statue of Grandpa Simpson, who insults tourists and asks them,
What are you looking at?
Very funny episode, just like the time the family faced lockdown. If you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but nor before you click on those like and subscribe buttons.